I first found out about the YouTube user Veracast Network, henceforward to be known as Evil Condom Guy, through the excellent videos that Fishhead Salad and Bod to Bits made on him about a week ago. While they did a great job of dissecting some of Evil Condom Guy's spurious claims about condom use, I want to go a little further than they did, and show the effects of Evil Condom Guy's anti-condom doctrine in their wider context. Some people have asked me why I care about this topic. It's not Evil Condom Guy that I care about, and this is not an academic debate or a ha-ha skewering just for fun. When we talk about contraception and STI prevention, we're talking about people's lives. People all around the world are dying, literally dying, because of the Catholic Church's stance on condoms. That's no joke. And that's why lies like the ones the Evil Condom Guy is promoting have to be forcefully countered by the best evidence and outreach methods available. So let's look at just a few of Evil Condom Guy's many lies.
I mean, a lot of people are going to argue, well, if I'm protecting myself against diseases that may kill me, why is it a bad thing? Well, it's a bad thing because if people are adhering to Catholic teaching on sexuality, they wouldn't have to worry about diseases. Sex is supposed to be between one man and one woman who are sacramentally united in matrimony. If you're using sex the way it was intended to be used, you never have to worry about viruses.
If you believe that having sex only with your marriage partner for procreative purposes will prevent STIs, then I would suggest you look at the paper, Beyond Monogamy, Opportunities to Further Reduce Risk for HIV Infection Among Married Zimbabwean Women with Only One Lifetime Partner by Hageman et al. Allow me to quote from the introduction. Quote, in 2002, Zimbabwe reported among the highest HIV seroprevalence rates in the world, with an estimated 24.6% of Zimbabweans infected with HIV. Among young adult women aged 15 to 29 years, 21.8% were HIV positive, and currently married women were nearly twice as likely to be infected with HIV as never married women, 25.8% versus 13.4%. In many African countries, like Zimbabwe, marriage is actually a risk factor for contracting HIV and not a preventative. And don't go telling me that it's different in Africa and you were only talking about the United States. The Catholic Church's teachings apply just as much to Africa as they do to the US, and the deaths of African women whose husbands gave them HIV matter just as much as do white women in the First World. Here's another study of African populations, this time from Rwanda. The paper, Effect of Serotesting with Counseling on Condom Use and Seroconversion Among HIV Discordant Couples in Africa by Allen et al., showed that HIV testing and counseling about HIV prevention through condom use caused an increase of condom use from 4% to 57% after 1 year in couples where one partner had HIV and the other did not. That's the definition of discordant couple. At the end of the 2.2-year study, quote, the rate of seroconversion among women was less than half that estimated for similar women in discordant couples whose partners had not been serotested. Condom use was less common among those who seroconverted. Seroconversion, by the way, means becoming HIV positive. The study concludes, quote, confidential HIV serotesting with counseling caused a large increase in condom use and was associated with a lower rate of new HIV infections. That's right. Condom use amongst married couples reduces the rate of HIV infection spread from married partner to married partner during the marital act. Unfortunately, ongoing studies show that the condom use rate amongst married couples in sub-Saharan Africa who haven't received serotesting or other intervention continues to be low. This means, again, that HIV is being passed from married partner to married partner during the marital act, and that the Church's teachings against condom use are killing people. And in case you want to say that for some reason condoms don't reduce HIV transmission in America, let me direct you to Condom Effectiveness in Reducing Heterosexual HIV Transmission by Weller and Davis of the University of Texas at Galveston. This is a review of literature that looked at a number of different studies to determine the rate of reduction in new HIV instances with condom use. They concluded, quote, This review indicates that consistent use of condoms results in 80% reduction in HIV incidence. Consistent use is defined as using a condom for all acts of penetrative vaginal intercourse.
Condom use also has made little or no dent on the rate of accidental or unplanned pregnancies in the American culture. This is also substantiated by the CDC.
The paper, Understanding Contraceptive Failure by James Trussell of Princeton University, states that the percentage of women experiencing an unintended pregnancy within the first year of typical male condom use is 18%. With perfect use, it's 2%. According to the same paper, the percentage of women experiencing an unintended pregnancy within the first year of not using any contraceptive method at all is 85%. So let's see. Condom use reduces the percentage of women who experience unwanted pregnancy within a year of use from 85% down to 18% with typical use, or from 85% down to 2% if you use condoms in the recommended way every single time you have sex. That's hardly ineffective. The study, Preventing Unintended Pregnancies by Providing No-Cost Contraception by Piepert et al. From Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis, found, quote, a clinically and statistically significant reduction in abortion rates, repeat abortions, and teenage birth rates after providing no-cost contraception to 9,256 adolescents and women at risk for unintended pregnancy. It doesn't matter whether it's condoms or long-acting reversible contraceptives like IUDs. Contraceptives reduce the rate of unintended and unwanted pregnancies, and also the rate of abortions, which seems like something that even evil condom guy would be happy about.
And because we think condoms are making us safe, we tend to do it more often, right? So condom use actually enables promiscuity.
Unfortunately for evil condom guy, there is peer-reviewed evidence showing that condom use does not increase promiscuity or risky sexual behavior. Allow me to introduce you to a paper entitled Increased Condom Use Without Other Major Changes in Sexual Behavior Among the General Population in Switzerland, written by Dubois-Arber et al. From the Institut Universitaire de Médecine Sociale et Préventive in Lausanne, Switzerland. To quote from the abstract, quote, no major changes in level of sexual activity, lifetime number of partners, frequency of sexual encounters in the past week, or potential exposure to risk of HIV transmission, acquisition of a new steady partner during the year, or of casual partners in the last 6 months, were observed. Systematic condom use with a new steady partner increased between 1988 and 1994 from 40 to 64% among 17 to 30-year-olds, and from 57 to 72% among those aged 31 to 45. Systematic condom use with casual partners increased from 8% to 56% between 1987 and 1994 among 17 to 30-year-olds, and from 22% to 42% between 1989 and 1994 among those aged 31 to 45. Condom use was higher among those with multiple partners. Conclusions. A general population approach to AIDS prevention was able to achieve large-scale improvements in condom-based protection against HIV infection without inducing other major changes in sexual behavior. If that's not enough for you, consider this plum passage from the body of the article. Quote, there is no evidence of a change in the distribution of number of partners in Switzerland except in adolescents. Furthermore, a secondary analysis of studies conducted between 1971 and 1993 on the sexual behavior of Swiss adolescents showed that the long-term trend towards an increase in the proportion of adolescents who were sexually active at 17 years, also observed in the United States, was reversed by the end of the 1980s, that is, after the beginning of the National AIDS Campaign and the generalization of sex education in schools. That is to say, that the more young people are educated about sex and about reproductive health and disease prevention, the less likely they are to be sexually active early, and by extension to encounter STIs. If you're going to complain that this is just one old study, then how about this one? Easier access to emergency contraception to help women prevent unwanted pregnancy, published in 2007 and revised in 2010 by Paulus et al. This study was about the provision of emergency contraception, commonly called the morning after pill, to women in advance of sexual activity. The results of this study showed that provision of emergency contraception before sex did not lead to increased rates of STIs, increased frequency of unprotected sex, or changes in contraceptive methods used. So no, providing contraceptives does not make people engage in risky sexual behavior with increased frequency.
The CDC recently released a study in which they report that there are 20 million new STI infections each and every year. 20 million. And that's just in the United States.
This is a complete red herring. Evil Condom Guy does not provide a link to the study, nor does he show that the proliferation of STI infections he claims is at all related to condoms or condom use. What he offers is, at best, a hand-wavy correlation that we're supposed to fill in for him. Not good enough. Given that all these papers are free for download, and easily accessible via a Google Scholar search for condom use and promiscuity, or contraception failure rates, or HIV transmission to married couples, there is no excuse whatever for this kind of mendacity. But this is the thing. For all these religious people, it's not about science or evidence. They claim the legitimacy of science and evidence for their baseless claims, but honestly, it's just because they know that if they stated the truth, namely, I have a bias which I am now going to tell you about, then people would, quite rightfully, ignore them. But, their thinking goes, you can't ignore science. So they wrap their lies up in science and hope that honest people don't peer too far beneath the covers. You know what? I support freedom of speech. Religious people are welcome to spew their lies all over the internet and preach to the converted as much as they want, under the banner of expressing their untutored personal opinions. But when they start invoking the name of science, I'm going to use my own right to free speech to show these people for what they are: liars, hypocrites, and frauds. I would like to end this video on a personal note. Tim, you are a fucking sociopath. If the possible displeasure of your invisible friend means more to you than the very real and very acute suffering of actual human beings here on Earth, there is absolutely no excuse for the evil of prioritizing the maunderings of ancient desert nomads over the health and well-being of people who are alive today, but may not be alive tomorrow because of your creed, and are experiencing unimaginable pain and anguish of body and mind because some man in a dress in Rome and his uninformed followers worldwide have decided that these suffering people cannot use an inexpensive and non-invasive method of protecting themselves from preventable diseases. That's it. There is no excuse for standing back with folded arms and judging the people whose lives condoms could help save. So I call you Evil Condom Guy, not because you believe, contrary to evidence, that condoms are evil, but because the doctrines that you espouse are evil. I guess I'll see you in hell.